Hi guys, welcome to Good Monkey Games channel. Well, and today we're gonna talk about educational path. I know it's quite an interesting topic for me, basically. For back in my childhood, I kind of horrible days. I mean, that was probably the most awful days in my entire life because I was facing actually the way how they teach you to learn anything basically, and that ended up basically as a complete disaster. So you end up like you feeling like you're an idiot, you're a fool, you don't understand anything, you have no idea what the hell they want from you, and so on. And you're kind of being depressed and smashed and crushed and feel absolutely like a piece of crap basically. And that's really unfortunate feeling, to be honest. And I kind of had that sort of experience back in my childhood. When they were teaching me at school and something like that. And that was basically the time when I hated the classical educational path, learning path. They were trying to kind of tell me that that's the reasonable way of doing things. Well, you might wonder what am I talking about in particular? Well, I'm from Ukraine, so it's kind of more like a Soviet school, you know. Like I didn't really born that early days when the Soviet Union was already created. Oh, when it was still existing, actually. Yeah. So I was born in 1987, and the Soviet Union has crashed in 1991. Fortunately, it was like probably the most happiest day in my life, you know. Well, but the unfortunate thing that basically, even after more than 20 years passed since then, but not really many things actually has changed in the educational system in my country. And when I actually realized that the Western system of the education is much more convenient, like say for me, and it makes really well, like it cares about you. Well, that's the most probably important thing about it. Well, but as far as I didn't really and probably don't really have now an ability is to have that to make that to make some use of that sort of education, like not really go into some college or something. Like in my country, that's just a weird disaster. Well, it's not really that much. I'm not about to go anywhere and learn that, so I just don't have money for this. Well, so that's actually was a little story to like opening story in order to bring the kind of main message from this video. So what actually did make me to start looking for an alternative ways of how can one actually educate himself, so like self-learning, self-education. And this is actually what this video is going to be dedicated to, so the self-learning path basically. And as always, there are pros and cons in this sort of path. So the benefits of self-learning is actually you are not forced to learn anything, you're not forced to do anything, you're kind of absolutely free in choosing whatever you want to learn, how long does it take you to learn this stuff, and so on. And also nobody does ask you to like pass some exams or tests, so nothing of that stuff that I personally hate for, that make my psychical state you know, in my early days like complete disaster. I don't know, just that was not really that good basically. Well, and probably the only alternative that was available for me and actually available now is actually this self-learning path. And you know that nowadays there are lots of absolutely brilliant and fantastic tutorial series, say on YouTube, or some tutorials in a text mode, yeah, like over the internet in somebody's blog, something like that. Well, and you're really able to learn lots of cool things while following those tutorials. And that's basically the way I learn things. And also, not very long time ago, I discovered a nice practice for my own. So, well, as far as you've learned something, you're starting to blog about this. Yeah, it might sound a bit weird, but basically, it's not about like when you want to say that, okay, guys, I'm a teacher, I'm supposed to teach you things that I know. No, it's not about that, absolutely. And when you see some tutorial series, we'll say related to web programming on my channel, CodeMonkey King's channel, well, please bear in mind that I'm learning this stuff myself, and it happens probably like that. So, well, I found a video on YouTube in a channel called Traverse Media or something like that, and it was titled as, well, let me remember, RESTful web application. Yeah, well, it consists of two parts. The first part is actually describes the basic database interaction using the Node.js Express framework and the Mongo database, and the second part builds the front end using the AngularJS front end framework. I've already paused the first part and really didn't ever see the second one for now, but I already almost completed my own video tutorial series on how to make a RESTful web application on the example of creating a simple to-do list. Well, those things are pretty similar. So in that video I saw a kind of how the guy built a bookstore. Well, it's also like for the educational purposes, not the production ready one for sure, but still the principles are kind of the same. And I'm making my own application already. That's the to-do list. So I'm posting this on YouTube. I've made a GitHub repo for this, divided into two parts, like source code and tutorial part. And the tutorial part actually consists of several folders, like part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on, and they contain the particular code related to each video in this series. And what do I really want to say by talking all this stuff to you guys? That this is basically what is known as the divide and conquer principle, one of the most ever exciting principles I've ever faced in my life. So, like when I first looked at the code of the web application written with Node.js and Express framework, I said, oh my god, what the hell is that? I can't understand anything at all. What is this stuff all about? And then I just started to divide it into smaller parts. It's very easy. It's kind of probably the most simple practice you would ever face, but it's absolutely extremely effective. Well, so I've started to divide things, and as far as doing this, an ability to delve deeper into the details and to dive to the very gist of things until you understand actually has become possible. So, like when you say like RESTful web app, what the hell is that? You have no idea. You have no image inside your mind of what does it look like. You could have actually read a Wikipedia article about what is that, but that doesn't really kind of help you much to understand what is this on practice. Well, but while in the case you're actually dividing things your own, you're really starting to understand the key modules of the entire application. What does it actually consist of? And that really helps you to understand things in a greater, more details. And that's also what is known as the start very general and get more specific principles. Another one that in a cooperation with the divide and conquer brings an absolutely incredible experience of self-learning, of self-teaching basically, and that's actually the path I'm following in my life, and well, that's pretty effective. One of the key things here that in comparison to some standard educational systems built around all over the world, this lets you to follow the most ever natural way possible. So when you try and when you follow in somebody, when you follow in some system or some knowledge, well, you have some benefits of it. So like you're diving in and you're being showed everything, like how it works, and you feel this like you feel yourself already like a part of something bigger than you are, and you feel like you don't really have those skills yet, but you already have that, like a feeling like, yes, I'm so cool, I can do it, and so on. But actually that's not really true. So if you would be taken away from your teacher or from that educational system, you'll find yourself basically knowing nothing, and you just go to the empty room and with a computer and sit at it and start writing some code. You will realize that you don't really know anything. In case when you're actually going to kind of the self-learning path, well, in that case, the process of learning is maybe, well, it's not about the speed of the process. Can't really say that it's just faster or slower. It more depends on a bunch of not related to this particular topic things. It's just a different path. That's really what is worth mentioning here. So let me just try to get my thoughts a bit and try to understand what exactly am I supposed to talk. What kind of message am I about to bring you here, guys? Well, it's about like basically like following your inner nature while learning something, and this is, I got this mind. Like the way how you learn and where you learn and who teaches you in almost 100% defines your professional path in future. And if you have been kind of under pressure of the system that actually grew you, that in this case you will be under pressure all over you will be under pressure while doing your professional stuff either, and that's quite unfortunate, to be honest. But in case if you're really free to learn in the way it's the most convenient way for you to learn, well, in this case you're absolutely free to choose like your professional path, and you like really feel so many opportunities are actually available around. While if your mindset it doesn't belong to your own, well, in that case your mindset is actually the thing that defines your entire life, and I believe that's not the most ever kind of good idea. Yeah, so I believe that actually your inner nature is the thing that is about to define your particular path in your life, in your profession, in your learning, everywhere. So that's kind of the message I was supposed to bring you guys, and well, I hope this helps you to find your own way. And like programming is just yet another thing that serves as an example of how the things works actually. And well, it's really popular nowadays, and many guys actually trying to find their own way in this. But it's like a mirror, it just shows you back the thing of what you are actually doing. So it just reflects kind of yourself. So it's kind of the way to get the feedback for your own path that you are following there. Okay guys, this is it for this video. If you like this, then press the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.